Everybody, it is time to pay attention. Potential W bottoms in Bollinger Band terms in Ethereum and Solana, but not in Bitcoin. Going to be time to pay attention soon, I think. This is John Bollinger, the OG. This post getting around 1 million views. If you've been watching my content, you know I'm a macro bull. Even at this stage of the cycle, especially for altcoins, I've been talking about, I think altcoins are less risky than Bitcoin right now. You can imagine. It's nice to see, for me, an OG like John Bollinger kind of discuss and hint at something very similar. And I want to discuss it in this video. I want to look at Ethereum, what he's talking about. I want to look at Solana, and I even want to look at Cardano in terms of the Bollinger Bands. So hit the subscribe and like on the way in if you're not in our intelligence system with our risk models. We have exit planners. We have autonomous AI trained on all of this data, trained on your strategies. Get back there. We have a free trial still going on right now. Interestingly enough, I just want to make a note for you. 47 risk on Ethereum. We'll be talking about Ethereum and those Bollinger Bands in this video. You go back to November 2020. Check it out. Ethereum in the 40s in terms of risk. What was happening then? Well, you go to a gold chart. Gold was topping out and crypto is getting ready for its bull market. The question is, gold topping out right now? Just something to think about as we start this video. I want to start before we talk about the Bollinger Bands, we start getting into the analysis, price action, all that. I do want to take a glance at Bitcoin dominance, some things to watch out for. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have kind of a potential target up here in this 62% range for Bitcoin dominance, a move to the upside. I did notice something though. I think I was on my phone earlier just looking at charts. I was looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. I am curious to see, right now we do have the 20-day just kind of making its way above the 50. It doesn't have to even be that long of an uptrend in play right now. So I'm curious to see if Bitcoin gets strength or not in the coming days. And I mean like this week, because there could be a lot of volatility this week. You know, the shutdown, we're going towards the end of October, interest rate talk, all of these other things. But what I noticed was we had the 20 also making its way above the 50 back here, and the top was almost in for this Bitcoin dominance chart. One thing that signaled the top before we made this move to the downside, you can see right here, this Bitcoin dominance RSI falling below this area right here, this moving average line. And right now, that's kind of happening. So in the very short term, even in the days ahead, I'm curious to see if there's any resistance and we see this moving average line actually start falling. That could be a sign that Bitcoin dominance actually might start falling even before getting to 62%. That's something I just wanted to just make a note of, but still up here is that 62% area that is in play that I'm watching for. And I think it has a lot to do with what kind of headlines we're going to get this week. So let's go talk about this post, potential W bottoms in Bollinger Bands for Ethereum and Solana. I saw this post. The last time John made a call for Ethereum USDT, it was September 9th of 2022, and Ethereum went on to pump from 1290 to 4000. Imagine fading a once in a year John Bollinger call. Won't be me. And you can see what that chart looks like. It's important to note that when he did post that, and you can see this post right here, September 9th, 2022. What time is it? ETH USD breaking out of a Bollinger Band squeeze. Must be time to pay attention. It was choppy even after he posted that, right? But you can see it was time to pay attention. So when you see something like this right now, it is kind of interesting. Gonna be time to pay attention soon, I think. That does not mean that we might not be choppy like we were in 2022 when he posted that. We go to an altcoin market cap chart. We know there's a lot of things in play. More consolidation around the 20 and 50 week moving averages. If we get just some type of high fear event, a similar move that we had in previous higher lows, right? A move to the 200 week moving average. These things are in play. Be careful. But I'm zoomed out right now, everybody. And this chart, as we continue through Q4 into next year, 2026, with all of the fundamentals from so many different perspectives coming together, I'm very bullish and I'm very much paying attention to what John Bollinger is saying here. So let's just go look at the ETH chart. This is on the weekly. I wanted just to give you a visualization of what's happening on the weekly, this throwback to the symmetrical triangle. The apex, right now we're above the 20-week moving average, which is good, and we're only 24 minutes away from closing this weekly candle. It'll be very good to see Ethereum close above the 20-week moving average in green. But again, if we have a volatile week, we could chop into the apex of this triangle. The 50-week moving average is down here around $3,000 to $3,100. Be ready for it. Just be ready for it. But with that being said, interesting to note that as Ethereum is making this nice technical throwback to the symmetrical triangle, you go look at the Bollinger Band, right? And here's this kind of pattern that's setting up over here. And I want to just make a couple notes. There's a ton of rules in terms of Bollinger Bands, but two things I do want to make a note of. Bollinger Bands can be used in pattern recognition to define and clarify pure price patterns such as M tops and W bottoms, momentum shifts, etc. So, John posting this, he's specifically talking about potential W bottom, a momentum shift happening. And then lastly, tags of the bands are just that. They're tags, not signals. A tag of the upper Bollinger Band is not in and of itself a sell signal. A tag of the lower Bollinger Band is not in of itself a buy signal. So there's definitely some caution to be had, but here's what we have going on. A W pattern setting up with these like two tags to the bottom. This basis line, I think in blue, is probably the most important line that I'm watching in this story that's playing out. Very curious to see how we kind of go into this week, right? If we see Ethereum start making a move to the upside, getting above this basis line, we might have a new piece of momentum to the upside. And when Ethereum starts getting momentum to the upside, as far as Bollinger Bands go, it's just, above the basis, and this thing, the upper band, just goes kind of crazy. And you can just go back on any of these charts if you have a Bollinger Band open, and you can just see what that looks like, right? And here's like October 2023. You see just this higher high, higher low, and it's just like cruising to the upside. That's the momentum shift that we're looking for, and that's the visualization of what it could look like. But it starts really at $4,200 to $4,300, or I'm sorry, $4,200 to $4,300 above that basis line. You go look at Solana right now, very similar pattern setting up. The question is, how, as we go into this week, will this play out? Basis line for Solana around 208, and then you look at ADA, very similar. Basis line for ADA around 75. I'm curious to see this week in general, obviously across the board. For all of these signals, when we're talking about Bollinger Bands, this is not something I talk about a lot on this channel, but I think it's definitely worth doing a video on because, John Bollinger posted this, but also Bitcoin dominance and this consolidation of higher highs, higher lows on the daily that we've been in. And the question of, is it similar to back here? And are we about to see Bitcoin dominance top out and altcoins make a power move against Bitcoin? These are things I'm watching. But as we start this week, because it's Sunday evening as I record this video, there is so many things that could move all of these charts in either direction. And we'll find out probably soon how this week opens. So these are just some of the things I'm watching, everybody. I'm a macro bull, as you know. You can very simply go to the altcoin market cap chart, get a visualization of why I'm a macro bull. I think we're going to have a great bull market for altcoins. I still do, even in the fear. But there's reason to always be cautious, obviously, on the short term. So pace yourself, have caution, be careful. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe on your way out. And if you're not in our risk models, our intelligence system, get back there. We have the free trial still going on. We are incredibly neutral, pre-bull market, even moderate buy territories. The altcoin market cap chart sitting at, I think, a 21, Cardano at a 32. So get back there. Start strategizing with any of the altcoins that are back here, Bitcoin, whatever chart you want. And if you don't like it, just cancel before the trial is over. But now is the time to plan, everybody, before the move. Because guess what? The move happens quick. That's how it's always been. And even if it's a short-term burst to the upside, those moves, they happen quick. This cycle has definitely been different in that we have not gotten just this parabolic bull run and then it's over. This has been sustained higher highs, higher lows, and managing and watching risk during these times is important. So appreciate all of you. Hit the like on the way out if you got any value from this content. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.